Johnny Blanket over there on the other. You know, one of the bookends right here. My friends are being bookends. In the middle is Guy Reffitt, the face of J6 as far as I'm concerned. The first one to go down for the country. Never walked into the Capitol, but stood there like a champion as he slid down the rail with his arms up in the air. I never saw so much Patriot spirit in my life. And next to him is the most dedicated woman to her husband and her family that I know, Nicole Reffitt over here from Freedom Corner.
My hero.
And, yeah, my hero. Everyone, the
My
guy,
hero
I'm
for
telling
sure.
you, are a hero. And I love the moments when the phone call would come. My man's on the phone, and she would go to the other corner because Guy was on the phone. But I would like to start with you, Nicole, and that you had. How did you get on the corner with Mickey and the team, and how many days did you stay there? And then I have a few more questions.
Well, Mickey, coincidentally, Mickey began the vigil August 1st of 22, and that was the same day that Guy was sentenced. Mickey came to the courthouse, and she sat with the girls and I, and we went to the corner with her that night and sang the anthem. After Guy was sentenced to 87 months in jail, I went back to Texas, really collected myself. Some incidences happened in the jail the last weekend of August, and I called Mickey, said, "Are you going to do it for another month?" She said, "I absolutely am." I said, "Let's go. I'll be there." And then we were there for over 900 days after that.
You had some strong support down there. I recognize a lot of faces that were down there a lot. Who were some of those friends that were there with you?
Well, we had really great support from the Chinese Americans. They just really came out. We've had many of them come from all over the country, and many escaped the CCP.
Sure.
And their stories are so poignant, and they knew what we were losing, and they were just as dedicated as we were. Rebecca, Dwight, Lily, and just so many of them. Of course, America's First Warehouse and you guys, were out there also in support. And, it was just gave a little bit of inspiration to the guys inside. And, the reason that Mickey even decided to do it there outside of the jail is because of their dedication of singing the national anthem every night at 9 o'clock. And they did that for, 1,500 days.
I got to say, if you didn't see it, you should have seen it. But you can go back and see it because Gary, there was like yourself, there was a lot of people that did a lot of work in videoing and recording and taping. There was a couple people down there every single night with you that was recording live. Do you know them guys? And
Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
Sherry, what's hers?
Sapphire Patriot.
Sapphire Patriot. That's right.
Yeah.
And that's something too, just to think about the live streamers.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that just really comes to mind though is Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
I mean, he every night. I mean, I might have went home a couple of times for a little short period or whatever, but that's what helped with Freedom Corner.
Yeah,
That
live streaming
just
changed everything. It changed everything.
Yeah, they were able to get the message out. I remember moving there. I was nervous as heck because I had no clue who they were, other than Nicole saying, I'm not going to repeat it, what you said about going back to Texas.
some things you can't repeat. Then Nicole,
Whoa.
About going back to
So
Texas.
true.
Reel that in.
Back to the verb.
they don't pull any punches. Though
But it's-
Mickey and Nicole never pulled any punches down there on that corner. And there was a lot of people that were outside yelling and screaming across the street, which was pretty pathetic at times. And some of the words that they wrote on the street.
Demons.
And that they
They're
said,
demons, those people. They're
Yeah.
demons.
yeah.
They are demons.
And they didn't know who we were for a long time, but the Freedom House was a house that, and it really, I think, out of the 2 years that you might have been there, I think the last couple of weeks is when it really paid off for us to open the door for a guy and for all the other guys that walked out of jail that day, that night, and.
Oh,
Right?
it was amazing. It was amazing in the house. We had so many Jan Sixers that came in all in their prison garb, we had the Chinese Americans giving them coats, giving them clothes, waiting on their people to pick them up. There was food, there was celebration. It was just such an amazing moment. And, we just couldn't believe it. We could not believe it. A lot of healing happened, and it was amazing, But the House also served during a lot of that time to house Jan Sixers coming in for trials, Jan Sixers coming in for sentencing, their families, and it really gave them, and Freedom Corner also gave a lot of Jan Sixer families this feeling of acceptance, and because unless you've gone through this process, it's really hard to explain the real amount of persecution that you go through. It's so isolating. There's so many people with opinions out there of you. And then you get around people that, love you, you just really hang on to each other.
And Nicole,
Amazing.
that's one of the things that you did with when the families would come in. They have no clue what's fixing to happen. But
Right.
you were brutally honest and upfront. Here's what's going to happen. Or sit in the cafe, when we go eat at the courthouse, and
Well, that's
you
another
ju-
thing.
You help them so much just because of what you gained by being in that courtroom every freaking day for everybody.
Well,
so
and
it
being
wasn't
in the
just
co-
nighttime; it was all day too.
That's right. We would go to committee hearings. Anyone that any that we could get into that we knew could stir them up a bit. And we went.
Easily
I've
does.
probably seen more Jan 6 cases than any other one person.
100%.
And what I really saw through Guy's case is that they tried to prove that what they did prove was a narrative and not the actual facts of the day. And we saw how they could use laws as weapons against the American people, and there was no stopping it. And, in the intimidation, the amount of intimidation that so many of these Jan Sixers went through, so many of them took plea agreements because of the intimidation of the government. And, they would supersede you if you did not take a plea. Then they would supersede you again, tell you that you're going to serve 30 years in prison. That's not how the system is supposed to work correctly.
One day in prison is enough to scare me into anything. Now, I do know that plea deal situation went to almost everybody, and they put a lot of pressure on them. But for some reason, Guy Refford, you didn't take that. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, no, my Sixth Amendment right to trial in the Constitution stands very firm in my beliefs and in who I am. I couldn't see myself bending the knee to tyranny and allowing the government to force me into something that, or force me out of that trial whenever that was my right to do so, because the appeal is the most important part. You can get the emotions of a jury to talk to you, and you can draw those emotions out of a jury, and you can get a conviction, which is what they did by the lies and the narrative that they created. So the jury found me guilty, and in the long run, you need to go to that 3-judge court of the circuit and get your appeal answered without the emotions, but through the law, through the Constitution. And that is what we did, and ultimately we lost one of those charges, and probably would have, the 1512 was removed in the Supreme Court because we went through the process, because the process through the judicial system is the most important part. You fear the jury, you fear the government, and the government takes control of you, and you bend the knee and you take a plea and you lose. You admit to something they said you did, which may not be what you really did.
But I think
and you're
what-
doing that just to get a lighter sentence, but it's not the way our our judicial system is designed.
But
Absolutely antithetical.
What you found out after you got in the system, though, is that the government had already been doing this to American citizens, not just Jan Sixers. They had been forcing people into pleas by saying, I'm going to indict your mother.
Or
I'm
your-
going to go after your
I'm going to
girlfriend.
go after your girlfriend. I'm going to put her in prison for 15 years, but if you take this plea, I'll give you 10, and you can just walk after 10. And that's literally against the rights of the people. They're circumventing their own constitutional understanding by giving a contractual agreement between the defendant and the government. The defendant waives the right to the Constitution, and the government signs the same agreement, and both of you push away the Constitution, and then the government wins 99.6% of the time. And my studies while incarcerated for 4 years found that this started in 1990. Only 34 years ago did plea agreements become so ubiquitous within the United States government. And that's overloading the prison systems, which means that there are not enough staff to do the rehabilitations. So recidivism is high. And if the system can't handle that load, well, in my opinion, stop taking plea deals and watch the load break the system, and let's bring it back down to the right constitutional values. My Constitution doesn't die with their inability to do their job.
That's right.
Good.
So
What an incredible story. And the story continues. Guy and Nicole and Gary are going to be heading down to Texas. We got almost 2 minutes left over here. Can any of you guys tell me what's going to be happening in Texas with the Homes and the J6ers?
Don't know till we get there.
Well, the
Thanks for that.
the J6 Road Home is a project ministry started by Jenny Cudd down in Fredericksburg, Texas. She has an Airbnb down there. She's building many homes and helping J6ers get back on their feet because so many lost everything, including family, through this. So it's really the road home. And
J6roadhome.com. Go check it out
Absolutely.
and support these Jan 6 defendants coming out of prison that have been behind bars for a significant amount of time, and they need to reacclimate to, back out into the free world.
What I find almost amazing, Johnny Boy, I don't know if you agree with me on this one. I look at this man and what they put him through. For him to have such a calm, level head, I believe that there's a power greater than us. That is
I think it's
guiding
like they put their time in as if they were military and should get every benefit from that and then some. I mean, this
Was
was
their duty.
unjust and terrible. But, I don't know what to say when you get out. Hey, thank you for your freedom. It's hard to even, imagine what they went through or what I could say to make them feel better, But when I met Gary, though, I didn't think I was going to like him, and he turned out to be a real brother to me.
He's all right.
If there's anybody I'm going to be real upset about missing, and that's my man Gary.
Well, we're not going to
Right.
miss him, Johnny Boy. And, we might say so long for the moment, but they're going to continue their quest. We're not giving up. For Ashley, the number 4, Ashley.com. It's a personal right for here from my heart. We're going to follow Guy, and we're going to follow Nicole, and we're going to follow Gary down to Texas and bring it to you here at the America First Warehouse and the America First Podcast. God bless America, and God bless you, great J6
Thank you.
people.
back
God
at
bless
you.
you.